You know, nearly a year ago, 3 young Boy Scouts went sailing on Lake of the Pines but never came back home. Their mast hit a low-hanging power line, killing Will Brennan, Heath Fauché, and Thomas Larry.
Their deaths fueled a greater conversation here. Why was this power line so close to the water? KETK's Daniel Pierce traveled back to the scene and discovered the problem is still there. In tonight's special report, he shows us what's being done to prevent this from ever happening again.
It was terrible. One of them was a son.
Well, why did it have to be them?
The wind started coming out of the north-northeast, blowing it toward the high line.
The only problem was actually getting to the patient.
All of those factors just combined for that tragic event.
August 5th, 2017 started as a peaceful weekend on Lake of the Pines. Boy Scouts from Troop 620 in Hallsville, eager to earn merit badges and learn the skills that would make them great outdoorsmen. That evening, 2 older scouts, Heath Fauché and Will Brennan, took Thomas Larry, a young scout, on a catamaran, similar to this one. He was trying to earn his small boat sailing badge.
By the very nature of what they were trying to do, they didn't want to be on the open lake. They wanted to be in an area like this that's relatively calm.
On the water 50 yards away from their campsite, the wind shifted and pushed their boat into danger. The metal mast hitting a low-hanging power line. The electric shock killed Fauché and Brennan instantly. Larry died hours later at the hospital.
The game wardens had got the boat and kind of pulled it to the north.
All of this playing out near the shore of Joe Huff's land. The lines involved run behind his property.
As we first noticed, the ambulance coming by.
He saw the scene minutes after the tragedy.
Boy Scouts didn't have anything motorized.
Through the clearing is where the boys lost their lives.
They ended up just trying to paddle a kayak and getting them back in.
The next day, game wardens, crews from Upshur Rural Electric, and the Army Corps of Engineers showed up, trying to piece together what happened.
I'm assuming that they thought, well, one of the lines had come down or something, and they'd got into it.
But instead, it was this, drooping electrical lines. As you can see, one significantly lower than the others.
Just me talking to the guy, they said they just want to know where it was, as quick as they could. Was it because the water was too high, had the line sagged or something like that? And the guy said they were just in a normal position.
A year after the accident, we wanted to find if anything has changed. Does the risk still exist? David Temple, a high school science teacher, traveled with us to Lake of the Pines, going to the same spot. Greeting us, warning signs at every dock, several keep-out buoys, and
The one on the left, if I'm just guessing, the one on the left, the deepest part of that bow right there, yeah. To me, that looks like it's almost a good 2 to 3 feet lower than the one on the far right.
The same potentially deadly danger, sagging lines inching closer to the water.
I feel as if I can just throw something up there and it hit it.
Right. I mean, like I said, they're actually closer than what you probably realized.
Hanging about 25 feet above the surface of the lake, despite a state law which requires all power lines to be at least 52 feet above water. But how could this be? The line was in place before that law, so it was grandfathered in.
I think almost by common sense, you shouldn't grandfather something in that could possibly be a safety hazard.
A hazard only increased by the massive wooden support poles. Look closely. They're leaning.
Over time, things sink.
A question on people's minds, what will be done to prevent this peril in the future? How about raising the lines?
Oh, that's an option. And it's probably the easiest option, but it doesn't remove the threat.
And Upshur Rural agrees. When we asked, they told us they have been working to create a solution for about a year, a plan that could involve burying the lines.
Let's take it and bore under the lake and completely bury the line. Not only just here where it crosses Alley Creek, but up on Hurricane or Johnson Creek, they're going to do the same thing.
This is a high line that he's talking about. It crosses the lake in 2 areas, at this cove and then about a 1/4 of a mile down his property. That's a location where the 3 Boy Scouts were killed. So by removing these 2 spots, you remove 2 chances for someone to get injured.
This stretch of dirt on Huff's property is covering a line that's already been buried. Next to go, the high lines in his backyard. His concerns, the cost to refill the holes left will fall on him.
So what it's going to cost, as far as me, to fix the mess. You know, it sure ain't gonna cost me 3 of my sons.
A price no parent should have to pay. And with the changes, no parent ever will.
Now, the Army Corps of Engineers will be holding 2 public meetings regarding the final draft of their safety plan. One will be Tuesday in Jefferson, the other in Longview on Wednesday. Neil, Casey.
Okay, Daniel, clarify this, please. So you have the Army Corps of Engineers and the power company. Who is controlling what?
Well, the Army Corps of Engineers, they actually control the land that those wooden poles sit on. However, it is the power company that oversees the wooden poles and the power lines. And so you have these 2 entities working together. The big question now is, will they be rerouting the poles along the entire lake, or just simply take where they are, bury them, and then bury them underneath the water? Of course, we will be at that meeting tomorrow and report those details right here at 10 o'clock.
I think all of us will be